And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port, the Monday after Easter, the big weekend for the New York Yankees. UConn men's basketball, back-to-back Final Fours as they go for back-to-back titles. How you doing today, Tony?
I'm doing great, dude. Honestly, obviously great weekend with the fam, the Easter, the egg coloring, the food. So nice little recharge action. Stoked for this week, dude. A lot of great sports to go over. A lot of great sports happening this week, too. Happy to be here, man. Let's go, right?
Hell yeah. And this is, again, I know last time we were on Thursday, obviously, Michael held down the fort on Friday.
Great job, by the way.
Great job by Michael, just powering right through it. Like I said last time, I mean, I feel like we could go 3-4 hours today, honestly. If you just think about all the basketball, the golf, the baseball, the hockey. It really is unbelievable. So excited to be here. So excited to talk with everybody. And it seems like the one, the only Josh B ready to hit leadoff once again.
Of course, early and often, baby. Welcome back, fam. Happy Monday. Hashtag TCA, hashtag Sportsport, hashtag DTV. Kev Dew in the house as well, dude. We want the smoke. Hashtag TCA, hashtag DTV, hashtag Sportsport.
Quick time out here. Kind of interesting. After the first 4 days of the baseball season, all of a sudden, no Yankee talk from Kev Dew.
No Yankee boy.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point that out there.
He's been saying the "What's up, Yankee boy?"
Continue.
Speaking of the Yankee boy, Michael Buckta says Yankees sweep the Astros UConn 30-0 run. And he wants to know when he can come in this week to do the sports port. We've talked to Brian about that one. Also says Lakers beat the Nets and that weirdo Cam Thomas.
Wow.
Is he a weird guy? Or
I don't really know much about him. I know, he's on the Nets. He played at LSU. He's had some big scoring games this year. But again, our focus this year is just not in the NBA. I mean, maybe that'll change in future years. But when you have a team like the New York Rangers, there's no room for the NBA, Tony. I know I said Toonie. Toonie. Especially with baseball starting up and everybody being jacked, NCAA tournament, the golf. I mean, where's there the time, Tony? Tell me where there is the time for NBA.
Well, let me tell you who has the time. Michael Buckta. He says LeBron with the 40 bomber and 9 threes.
Yes, I mean, I will say,
9 for 10 from 3.
I think that is impressive. 39 going on 40 years old to have 40 points, last night and have 9 threes. What was it? 9 of 10 from
9 of 10.
range.
That's correct.
That is impressive. So, credit where credit is due, as well as Ryan McNeil with his usual
Heidi Ho Downtime TV, he says.
That's a reference to some movie, right?
I'm assuming Home Improvement, but
Home Improvement, gotcha.
Mr. McNeil hasn't said anything about that.
It's just weird. It seems like there would be some backstory with you, maybe the drinking. You forgot about it, no?
I don't think so, dude. I don't typically, drink while I'm teaching. So
I don't know if you went to Reds after class.
No. I haven't been to Reds in forever, dude. I'd like to, but I feel like that's kind of weird. I don't know, man. Like students, the teacher at Reds, I don't want to,
Yeah, I gotcha.
But they do every so often. They do ask professors to do a celebrity bartending hour, where you're the one serving the drinks. And if say our approach me and we're like, hey, you want to do that? I'd probably say yeah. That'd be a good time.
Okay.
I would get some good juice. People would come show up.
Speaking of juice, are you a little juiced after Michael Buck's last comment?
Tony, we got to talk about those Mets. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not excited about the 0-3 start to the season. And it's not even the 0-3 starts. I think first time since 2014, but it's just like the way they lost the games and just the fashion in which they conducted themselves and the whole Reese Hoskins thing. And we'll get into it. Yeah. But obviously, not happy at all, dude.
Kind of like a Kev Do dig at you though. There, I feel like, you know what I mean, like kind of the opposite side of things.
No, yeah, like from Buckner, you're
Yeah,
saying, yeah, definitely like twist the knife and let's talk about the Mets.
Yeah. Wow, and he's making the 162-0 call, which would be something. I have to say, I pretty much can guarantee that won't happen, but I would love to see it.
That'd be kind of crazy, dude.
And then Ryan McNeil says you would kill it as the Reds bartender.
There we go. I mean, pretty easy, just wine and beer. You know, I'm not making cocktails or anything, so
yeah. Take it easy. Take it easy. So much to get to. I know everybody makes fun of me for starting with golf, but it just for whatever reason, it just seems like it's the way to go. It's quick. We just want to just cover it quickly. Steven Jaeger, as you said, the Jaegermeister, winning the Texas Houston Children's Open here. 12 under, a 3-under round on Sunday, getting the job done. He had a lot of golfers chasing him, including Scotty Scheffler, missing crucial putts down the stretch, including a 5-footer to force a playoff. So you think about the last time he played the Players, almost was in a playoff with Wyndham Clark, the lip out putt, and here he has a putt of his own, not going down and giving Steven Jaeger the win here, $1.638 million and 500 FedEx Cup points. So I have to say I was surprised that Scotty faltered down the stretch here, and just the fact that it was, not just one putt, but it was several putts, and I think it was maybe on Saturday he had a double bogey.
Yeah,
so there are just so many things that you could go to.
This is the 18th hole here from yesterday.
Scotty in his home state especially, and going for 3 straight wins, something that hasn't been done, I think they said, in 7 seasons on the PGA Tour.
That was a great shot off the tee too. Like, I thought he was really gonna nail it, dude.
Oh, the banner cut off at the bottom. How did that?
I'm gonna play it back for you guys and the folks at home here. Oh no.
Or are they're tight at this point?
No, here we go. All right, we're on it.
Let's see. Then you watched this live or not?
I did watch this live.
Wow.
It was, dude, me and my uncle were watching it. I was like riled for Sky. I thought he was really gonna win.
That is crazy. That looks like me on Saturday.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Wow. So I mean, it's one of those things, though. I think for Scotty, he was coming off 2 straight wins, and to get a second, tied for second, in your next tournament, it's not like he's slacking by any means, but obviously must be disappointing. And this was his final tune-up for next week's edition of the Masters tournament, which we are definitely riled for. The soundbite has been ready since John Rahm donned the green jacket last year. So we're excited about that. But I think it definitely is disappointing. And you would think, between now and a week from Thursday, he's going to be really practicing some putting. And I'm sure with, not playing, in this week's Valero Texas Open, that Scotty will arrive to Augusta quite early and really get a feel of those greens. Now, big picture, I mean, like I said, it is the Houston Open. It's not the Masters. It's not the Players. It's not, the PGA Championship. Do you think it really matters that much, or almost in a way, is there a silver lining, Tony? Because it's like this, it really stands out as, wow, like I need to get this putting down, or otherwise I'm going to be costing myself a lot of victories, and it could come at big tournaments. And obviously he wants to avoid that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I feel like with Scotty, we've talked about his consistency and everything. And I feel like the one thing that we talked about, and I feel a lot of people talked about, why he wasn't winning tournaments was because of his putting. I feel like that at one point was his weakest bet. I think he did the putter change. I think even a coaching change too, or something like that. And that's when we saw him kind of nailing down these putts and stuff like that. But obviously, this past weekend, not, you mentioned obviously one on Saturday too. He missed an easy putt. It's just, it's going to be putts like that lose you tournaments, just like this past weekend. So I don't know, man. In the back of my head, I don't know. I could see him going into like a slump almost, like if that putting, because it's so mental. And he talked about it too. He said the one reason why he wasn't putting well is because he was overthinking it. And I don't know. I think if you watch him yesterday, I think he was 10 under to start the day or something, and then did battle back or 9 under. And I mean, it was crazy the amount of players. It was like a 5-way tie for second.
And I think it was
or
5
third.
guys tied at the end of the day on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was incredibly competitive, incredibly close. And I mean, I don't know. I just thought like that pressure, like I said yesterday, watching Scotty, he seemed stressed out, like not happy with some of his shots, clearly got to him. And you saw it. I mean, that mistake at the end to not force the playoff. I mean, that is a mental mistake. There's nothing else about it. So, I mean, he's got to get his mind right. Especially like you said, big tournament a week from Thursday. Is it 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks?
No, it's a week from Thursday.
A week from Thursday. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, he's got to be on top of his game here. It's going to be more competitive field, and I'm a little worried about his putting, to be honest, dude.
And you know me, I always tell you there's no such thing as superstitions, but any chance, for most of his career, he's kind of went with the clean shaven look. You think any chance
Really?
last Masters win, clean shaven?
Yeah.
You think any chance we see, a fresh face out of Scotty come through?
I mean, I think so.
Change things
up, shave the face, get some fresh hairs in there, some new follicles.
And we did our major predictions a while ago. Does this result, change your prediction? I mean, obviously we have time, so we have our official predictions, for the week. But I mean, does this change your mind at all? This type of finisher?
I don't think so. I mean, I am worried, like I said, but I mean, at the end of the day, I would be foolish not to pick him, not to stick with my pick that I made at the beginning of the year here. So I am going to stick with him.
And just some other things from this tournament. Your pick to win, Jason Day, missing the cut by one stroke. But you did have Dunlap as your sleeper, right?
Yeah, he was my sleeper. He was doing okay.
Tied for 11th. Fired a 63 on Saturday to get him into contention. So a solid tournament for him. My pick to win, Wyndham Clark, tied for 25th at 4 under. And then my sleeper, Carson Young, also missed the cut. And then, just some other golfers in this field. Tony Finau was amongst the leaders at one point after a 62 on Friday, but a 72 on Saturday kind of set him back a little bit, even with a 66 on Sunday. So he finished tied for second at 11 under. David Skins, who, the story, made a few starts 2 years ago on the PGA Tour, booted back to Korn Ferry, won there, back on the PGA Tour. He was amongst the leaders, I believe, on Saturday. 69 yesterday to finish tied for 7th, so a strong tournament for him. Ashke Bahadia, it's been a little while since he's been in the mix. He tied for 11th at 9 under par as well. So really, notable wise here, Sahith Theegala, tied for 28th at 5 under. And like I said, Clark at 4 under, tied for 31st. Martin Lard, a nice finish, tied for 31st as well, Tony. And Andrew Novak, tied for 53rd at 1 under par. So, this is kind of, a warm-up tournament for the Masters, as will the Valero next week. And, we kind of have some guys that sat out this week playing next week. But definitely, for a pre-week of the Masters, I think a decent field here, led by Rory McIlroy, the world number 2. Can he get back on track? I mean, I'm very interested to see how he plays, and there's nothing more than he wants to complete the career Grand Slam. Brian Harman, the 8th ranked golfer in the world. Ludwig Aubert, the 9th ranked. You got Homa, Fitzpatrick, guys who didn't play last week, as well as Tommy Fleetwood, Hideki Matsuyama, Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth, who's went through some struggles recently, as well as Ricky Fowler, Lucas Glover. So I think, like I said, at pre-Masters, I think a decent field here.
Yeah, I think so too. Hey, what do you know about Thomas Dietrich?
Well, remember I picked him and then he finished last.
So. Yeah.
He's had some runs, but why? Were you watching a lot of them on Sunday?
Yeah, I was actually. And I think they were really hyping him up. He had some good shots, a couple ones out of the bunker, but I think he was gaining like a stroke and a half on average over the course of the weekend from the green. So his putting was like really phenomenal. And he had, honestly, dude, like he had a couple like rim outs yesterday too that, again, at some points where it could have given him the lead. So like he was pretty close to contending. I just thought that was interesting because the name sounded familiar. I thought you did pick him at some point.
Yeah, I did, and then he just completely porked me. So then I'm just like,
you're tight.
I'm never
tight,
picking
dude.
this guy again. It's happened to you. It's hard for us to have a short memory at times. I mean, it is what it is. And I was also looking on here. So while he did win 6 times on the Korn Ferry Tour, Tony, this is Steven Jaeger's first career PGA Tour win. Congratulations to him, turning pro 2012. He's 34 years old. So, nevertheless, he's been working at this a long time. Also, I was looking at this too, way back on the I guess it was the, web.com, which turned into the Korn Ferry, shot a 58 back in 2016. So
Wow.
he's had big rounds before. It's all about putting it together, and kind of like what you said with the putting, definitely a mental thing. And speaking of that, I did play on Saturday, a little cooler than I had anticipated. Went with the shorts, which I'm sure you would have done too. And had a birdie on number 4, at Gainer, the par 5 after the par 3. Houses on the left. I might have hit one when we played, maybe, or you did. Somebody hit a house. I just remember it always happens. But yeah, had a nice birdie, decent tee shots, but just those stupid shots. And I think one thing too that's been happening to me, I missed the fairway off the tee. I kind of got trees in my vision, and it's like hard for me to get back into the fairway. And I want to advance it far. So then I try to like hug the line, and then it ends up hitting a tree, falling down. So not what I've wanted just yet. And unfortunately, due to just my schedule and weather, won't be able to play this week. But hopefully we'll get back on the course next week, Tony.
Wow.
But it's at least it's early. That's how I can feel. I got my March golf out of the way. And I think in due time I will return to form.
So when you're in the rough or you're, a little off the fairway, you like to, because a lot of people are just like, hey man, just like chip it up forward on the fairway, then hit it from there. You're kind of like taking your chance.
Try to do the low liners. Sometimes it hits the tree, and sometimes it's just positioning where you're really almost going backwards to hit it horizontally. But it's been a learning experience where now, like you're saying, just get on the fairway. It's kind of like the bunker. Just hit your normal chip, that type of thing.
It's pretty crazy because the pros, they hit the low liners and they make it look so freaking easy, dude, to the point where like they're still hitting it like over 100 yards.
No, and it's always something too where it looks like it's going to be perfect. And then just at the last second, it has to hit a branch or something. That's golf, right?
That is golf, dude.
That is golf. So moving along here, obviously we had, starting on Thursday, the Sweet 16, which led into the Elite 8. Not too much of, too many surprises. I guess we did have 2 number 1s go down. On Thursday, UConn's first game, I mean, they win by 30 against San Diego State, 9-point game at the half, run away with it. It just, again, what we expected. So they won that game 82-52. Kim Spencer added 18. And as we know, it's always a complete team effort, when it comes to UConn. We saw Josh B's Tar Heels, unfortunately, go down blowing, Tony, an 8-point halftime lead to Alabama, losing 89-87. And Alabama would later advance to the Final Four, a place I know they haven't been in quite some time. Clemson with the upset over Arizona, 77-72. Arizona missing out on a chance to play in its home state for the Final Four. We had the Riley special with Illinois over Iowa State.
There we go.
72-69. So that got them a date with UConn on Saturday. Moving on to Friday, Purdue, I thought Gonzaga would hang tougher. It was a 4-point game at the half, but at the end of the day, Zach Edey, who's been on fire this tournament, the center, last year's player of the year, 27-14, leading them to an 80-68 victory, which would propel them to the Elite 8. And then, as we saw yesterday, into the Final Four. Duke with a close win over Houston, 54-51. So the Cougars, again, missing out on an opportunity to get back to the Final Four. NC State, the Cinderella run continues, 67-58.
Who would have thought?
Over Marquette. What a run for them. It's unbelievable. We'll get to, yesterday's game. And then we saw Tennessee 82-75 to get them into the Elite Eight with a game, against Purdue. On the Saturday, UConn again, tight early, 5-point game at the half. And as Michael Bukta said, a 30-0 run in the second half to propel them to a 77-52 victory, back-to-back Final Fours for UConn. Donovan Klinging starring in this one, 22 points, 10 boards, and 3 steals. And we saw Alabama beat Clemson. So the football rivalry turned to the hardwood as Nate Oates gets his first career trip to the Final Four here, 89-82. And he will have the fun task of facing the UConn Huskies, who were in action. We'll play the second game of the Final Four here. Yesterday's game, we saw Purdue back to the Final Four for the first time, I believe, since the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, 72-66. How about Zach Edey? 40 points, 16 boards. This was a 2-point game and a half, and Tennessee was in it till the end. But Rick Barnes falling short of the Final Four here. And Matt Painter, the Purdue head coach, getting his first career trip to the Final Four. And then you have John Shire and Duke looking for his first career trip to the Final Four, and their first Final Four since Coach K retired. But after losing to NC State in the ACC tournament, they followed up with a 76-64 loss here in the Elite Eight. So NC State, who was once 17-14, moves to 26-14. And we'll have a Final Four date with Purdue. What a story. And the win triggering a clause in Coach Kevin Keats' contract where he was looking, if they had an early exit in the ACC tournament, probably getting fired. Instead, he gets an extension, bonuses, and DJ Burns, an absolute tank at 6'9", 275. Really the talk of the tournament. For NC State, was an absolute animal yesterday, 29 points, and everybody very much so looking forward to the matchup of him and Zach Edey come Saturday. And speaking of Saturday, 2 games, obviously, Final Four from State Farm Stadium, home of the Cardinals in Glendale, Arizona. We'll have the 11 seed NC State, which set the record for the most losses at 14 to make a Final Four. They are 8.5-point underdogs against Purdue. And I know Edey's very good, and it would be a better matchup for UConn if they prevail, like we all feel like they will. I kind of like NC State to continue the run. I mean, it's unbelievable, Tony. Every week, it almost reminds me in a way of the Giants' first run. They beat Tampa. They're not going to win next week against that. Well, they're not going to win the following week against and then they're not going to beat the
Patriots.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, pretty impressive stuff for Choker's alma mater
here. Yeah, dude, Choker's got to be hyped here, and that guy Burns Jr. I mean, he's
an
the
absolute
guy.
Animal,
ridiculous. Tony. The touch he has, he's obviously he's backing down people in the post. He's got a nice little floater shot there. And honestly, it's not doing anything pretty crazy. I mean, I feel like it's fundamental basketball coming from him, and it just seems like there's no answer for the big man there. So how do you not root for this team?
Yeah. I mean, it is unbelievable, and I just feel like they're so inspired, and it just feels like, other than the Huskies, I don't know if anybody can shut them down. And the UConn, they're opening up as 11.5-point favorites against Alabama. And while it has been a great run for Alabama, I just don't see how they're going to keep it close with UConn. Maybe single digits first half, but I think we're looking at a 15 to 20-point victory again. UConn 35-3, I believe, a school record in wins this year. It's unbelievable what Dan Hurley has done with this group the last 2 years. In your minds, we know how good Edey is, but then the run that NC State is on, would be about the ones with UConn and Purdue. If NC State makes it, you have the Cinderella aspect. I mean, what do you think makes for a better game in your minds?
For the final, I don't know. I want to say Purdue does.
Because Edey, they're number 1 seed.
It's a better team overall. And I would imagine that guy is the answer for Burns on NC State, right? I mean, he's going to be able to do something to shut him down a little bit, right?
You would think
So I would say Purdue, UConn would be the better. But what do you think?
I think, but it just would be so interesting to see NC State. Like, what do they draw up? What do they try to do? And you think about it too. Along the way, they've beaten some good teams. I mean, they beat Duke twice, like I mentioned, yesterday, and then in the ACC tournament, they beat Marquette, they beat Texas Tech, they beat North Carolina in the ACC tournament. They beat Virginia, as well. I mean, it really is unbelievable, what they've been able to do. But it would be, to see Caravan battling down low and clinging with Edey. I think more than likely, Tony, what I would say is it's interesting. What does it look like, NC State versus UConn? But I think in terms of having a chance at the game being competitive, Purdue probably would be the better choice.
Yeah, I agree there. I feel like most people do. I don't know about Michael Buckta.
A little bias with Mr. Buckta here.
Yeah, I think so. It seems he's kind of tight, saying no team is a match for the Huskies.
But I was going to go to the second.
But Bama shouldn't be in the Final Four. They're a football school, not a basketball.
They won their games. They deserve to be there, Michael. I don't know about that one. And then I think I could see Burns maybe getting bottled up against the UConn bigs. But Horn has had a good tournament as well. He was their leading scorer during the regular season, or all season really, 16.8 points per game. So they have a deep team. We'll have both games, on Saturday before Championship Monday, and definitely a storyline to follow. Will UConn repeat? Being the first team since Florida since 2006 and 2007. At this point in the game, all honesty here, no lies, Tony. Are you rooting for the upset, or do you want to see them, go back to back at this point? Honestly,
I mean,
nobody's gonna be tight.
First of all, nobody's gonna be tight. It's a bold-faced lie right there, I feel. Second of all, I feel like if NC State is in the final, I mean, I don't know, dude.
You want to see
also that'd be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. I feel like when we were making our March Madness bracket, I was saying how Purdue could go far, and you guys were like, no.
But I think you also were ho-hum on NC State, and I was
ho-hum on NC State, yep.
Touche there a little bit.
So I don't know. No, I mean, it'd be cool to see UConn win. And honestly, I'm sure it would get riled around here if people would be pumped, right?
Exactly.
Let's go, dude.
Like, we almost might have to have a live stream for the championship.
I think we should do live watch party, right?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
That would be cool.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But definitely, an interesting tournament. And I just honestly hope again, like what I was saying last week, that at least, there's some competitiveness in these games, against UConn. And I don't know, Alabama, probably the weakest team in the Final Four here. But let's see what happens. They've been on quite the run. So I know Michael Buckta doesn't think so, but they do deserve to be here, Tony. So we will give them that. But it's the time I've been waiting for. Let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it! Yep. And Alonso cracks one to win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeouts.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So Yankees win. As I like to say, not once, not twice, not three, but 4 times in a row. We'll talk about it, Tony. And also, I do have a question for Dan Grasso. What are the Yankees going to do without LeMahieu? What are they going to do without LeMahieu? But I just wanted to kind of go over, game aside, just experience for you with the Mets opener on Friday. I mean, what did you really think? We hit up a couple of the bars there in Citi Field beforehand, the food. What was your whole thought, game, results, performance aside? What were your thoughts?
Honestly, I thought we did a great job with the commute. Great job, by the way, mapping it out. And I feel like the timing was pretty solid. I didn't, obviously they never felt rushed with our plan and everything like that. Pelham was dope, dude. The Pelham, dude, honestly, like
a little bit of a sleeper.
Yeah, a little bit of a sleeper, dude. Yeah. But the game was great, dude. I thought the bars were cool at Citi Field. I feel like Cohen is like he's on the cusp, like that whole plan he has to build up that area. I feel like is a great idea. Like I said, the 2 bars we went to inside Citi Field were dope. Yeah, I feel like it wasn't too expensive. Pretty like normal beers too, like nothing weird. Because I feel like sometimes like those bars have like only IPAs or craft beers. I'm just like, ugh.
Oh, dude, the $3 what was
Coors
it?
Light, dude. Yeah,
unbelievable. I have
like,
to say, props to the Mets for that.
What a deal!
You don't see that anywhere.
You really don't, dude. And smart too. Put the stand right in front of the door too, so you see it. But that was great. And then obviously, I thought our seats were awesome. I loved our seats, to be honest. First row does mean a lot.
Yes.
Right up off the foul pole, 531, right? Was the section.
Yes.
Definitely was like, definitely should have wore a hoodie, dude.
You were a little chilly.
I was a little chilly in the game because the wind up there.
Because I feel like first half it was kind of warm, no?
Yeah, I guess
First couple innings.
Obviously the sun was hitting us and everything. But the facilities were great. My dog was good. The fries were, they're like Nathan's
Chicken
fries.
Tenders were unbelievable. Nathan's fries, Nathan's tenders, they were great.
See, sometimes the Nathan's fries though don't hit me right because they're sometimes they're
like my favorite. I think honestly.
Really,
yeah.
Sometimes they don't just make them crispy enough.
I
would say that day they were definitely crispy.
Yeah,
but sometimes they just aren't crispy because they're thicker fry. But yeah, the seats were great. The people were cool. Didn't have any issues with the facilities. Had a great day, honestly. Perfect. Now I would say perfect weather, a little chilly, but obviously like
this time of year, not bad.
Was still at the end of the day excited. We didn't have to like wait out Thursday or maybe have a rain delay and try to figure it out. Like that would have been just atrocious.
Yes.
So it was great, dude. And then the Uber too, back and forth, even though everyone seems so confused of our route, even the conductor on the train. You go to the Met game and you go to Pelham?
What are you taking the subway? Oh man, yeah, I just can't do the subway, and I think it was well worth it, Tony.
Yeah.
Obviously a little chaotic getting out of there, getting the Uber. Where are you? Luckily, I had you to direct. I don't know if I would have been able to communicate with the Uber driver as well as you did at that point.
A little bit of luck there, I would say.
A little bit, but yeah, definitely a fun time. Excited for Friday, which I'll get to in a second. But first, I was telling you this before the show. It was so funny. Obviously a long day. We started early, a couple beers on the train. So by the time I got home, pretty tired, as Matthew likes to say. So of course he came over. He brings Remus, which just adds to the whole being tired thing. So we're watching the Yankee game, and I want to say halfway through, just kept falling asleep, and like snoring really loud. Must have done it like 5 times. And I guess like Pooch was down there with us, and he goes, "Wait, dude, was that actually like dead serious?" And I'd be like up for a second, and then like just. I can't go day and night. I used to maybe be able to do it in college, but it was just way too much. Luckily, I just woke up for the Giancarlo Stanton home run there in the 9th. Like I was up for most of the game, but I'm saying I saw that we won, so it was nice. After watching the opener with Matt, which, like I said, we'll get to in a second, recapping those. But I just thought that was just hilarious. Great, and I mean, you weren't that tired because I know you had to drive back to Staten Island.
Yeah. So the drive back, I was obviously, I jacked myself up for it. But when I got home, dude, it was like. My mother was like, "Wow, you're pretty exhausted." I was like, "Yeah, it was a long day, dude. I ate some food. I passed right out, dude, on my bed. Like it was, dude.
But did you used to be good at it, or was it always tough for you? Like college, like literally start drinking at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, like, and then go out later. Like, were you able to do that or not?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's just such a marathon.
It really is, dude. Especially, it's not like you said, we started pretty early, dude, like 8:30.
Yeah, exactly. So what I was gonna get to, and remember, last time we were on the air. Well, first he was talking more about the Rangers. Remember, I was mentioning Mark.
Oh yes,
and just in general, how for a while, and listen, everybody was highly disappointed with last season, and just really since 2017, trajectory, Boone, all of that stuff, Stanton. So he's just been so negative. Literally, I was with Matt when he texted me. after the second inning, after the Yankees were trailing, I think 4-0, opening day, says, I know it's not, but it feels like the season's over. Like literally that negative, Tony. Okay.
Are you serious?
And by the time this weekend was over, yesterday, secured his ticket for opening day and ready to celebrate post game Arthur Ave meal.
Wow, dude. Arthur Ave? Are you kidding?
And you haven't been there yet, right?
I was like little kid.
Wow.
Little kid,
so we're
dude.
thinking probably Enzo's. We'll sort
Let's
it
go,
out.
dude.
But I am riled for that. Riled that Mark is back.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Because he was always my, like, every game, he's down to go, especially way back in the day. There used to be like 2 for $20 StubHub bleacher seats. Like,
I love
used to
that.
go all the time. And he's just been so tight the last couple of years. For him to be all in, says he loves the team and can't wait to go to the game on Friday.
That's awesome. Honestly, I'm pumped to really see the Yankees play.
The Yankees, Soto, and then Arthur Ave. Are you kidding? Could you beat the combo?
Are you kidding? No, you can't.
Billy's.
Oh my
Where's
God,
Jay?
dude. Billy's. Oh, fireman, dude.
I feel like Jay was so stoked about Billy's.
No, he loved it, dude. I feel like he had such an unexpectedly good time there.
Yeah.
He riled.
Yeah. And imagine it's like basically we're going to have what we had last August, I believe it was July or August.
Yep.
But now with a team that can actually play, and ironically enough, that at that time, that was against the Astros. And just what a 4-game sweep. The Yankees sweeping the Astros here. And somehow, Tony, doing it without DJ LeMahieu as they first game 5-4, over the Astros here. Nestor started, definitely ran into some trouble early, but I was impressed, with him being able to battle back. In the first inning, he actually gave up 2 runs, a few hits here, McCormick with an RBI single as well as Diaz. So that made it 2-0. And then he comes out for the second and gives up a home run to Myers. So at that point, it made it 4-0 going to the top of the third inning. He settles down, has a couple of scoreless innings. And then in the 5th inning, Yankees get the offense going, and who else but Juan Soto, the star of the 4-game set against Houston, getting the scoring off with a single to right, scoring Jose Trevino. Anthony Rizzo also was hit by a pitch. Luckily, looked like that, was a pretty big stinger. He stayed in the game. That made it 4-2. Anthony Volpe worked a walk to score another run to make it 4-3. And then the other star of the past 4 games, Oswaldo Cabrera, with his first home run of the year there, first Yankee home run of the season, tied the game at 4. Alex Verdugo, the go-ahead sac fly in the 7th. So that made it 5-4. And then relieving Nestor Cortez, you had Jonathan Loaizaga, 2 scoreless innings. So he's going to be a big part of the bullpen after missing some time last season with injury. Another key cog to this bullpen, Ian Hamilton, who pitched in another game in this series, but also had a scoreless inning in this one, striking out a batter. Clay Holmes works around a couple hits to get this save, to end the game. And how about in the I actually have to see. So this was I was just trying to get the inning right here, but I guess it was the 9th. Yeah. So the bottom of the 9th, the Juan Soto throw home, Tony. What were your thoughts, coming into his tenure with the Yankees? Defense, he's not that good. Dominguez comes back, maybe goes to DH. What was your thought on that play? So close. I was watching with Matt bugging out. He was confident the whole way. I'm like, I don't know. And I think it played to their advantage that he was called out on the field. If it was the other way around, I don't know if it would have been overturned. What was your thought on that play?
Obviously very incredibly close, but nonetheless, I mean, what a throw. I mean, from Soto. I mean, that's exactly what you want from your outfield, especially from that distance too. I mean, to be able to have that in his back pocket, to have that confidence. I mean, like, I feel like you don't, like, I haven't seen that from a Met outfielder in a couple of years now. So it's like that's like you're got to be so hyped after how the start has gone. Obviously 4-0, great, but just Soto in general. I mean, that throw was so freaking on the money. Like, you're gonna be seeing that all season.
I mean, perfect technique. And like I said, I mean, you brought him here for his bat, but to be able to do that, gave you a lot of confidence. And one thing, and I know, it's ridiculous. Like, well, I think the simple thing is not everybody's Juan Soto. But I just don't understand. I'm not saying that they could have, his plate discipline and strike zone recognition, but you're telling me, Tony, that just in general, like most players around the league can't like take a page or two, the fact that the reason that Juan Soto is so successful is because he's so dialed in on plate discipline. And no matter what the situation, no matter how bad he wants to hit a home run, he's not going to extend out of the strike zone. I feel like for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just like antsiness, lack of patience, I feel like most of the league really struggles with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe if it is lack of patience or I don't know, man. I just feel like Soto does a great job. I mean, I don't know. You see him up at the plate. Like, I feel like he stares the pitchers down. Like, he doesn't take no shit.
He kind of has like a commentary after every pitch. Like, he's like doing like this and
like,
stuff.
I feel like he's always just staring at the pitcher, like, almost trying to intimidate them.
Talks to the ump.
Yeah. And I feel like because of that, he knows, like, maybe he's in the pitcher's head. So they can pitch around him. He knows that they can hit. He knows that they know that he can hit. So it's like, he just sits on pitches, like.
Right.
So I think that, obviously it helps that he's, intimidating to be able to have that plate discipline, because a lot of batters don't have that. A pitcher will think twice about going after Juan Soto. They're gonna try and pitch around that strike zone, make him swing.
Yeah.
And he just, like you said, has that incredible instinct of having that discipline.
And I know it's easy to like get caught up in the moment, but would you say at the very least, I think it's the best I've ever seen, but his strike zone recognition is the best or one of the best that you've ever seen?
In recent history, yeah.
I mean, it's like ridiculous. And the fact too that it's like there's 2 strikes, I feel like it's like I feel just as confident as him getting a hit if it's 3-0. Like he just is not going to extend the zone. And it's so refreshing, and you really hope, and obviously we've seen it, in this 4-game series with Houston, that his strike zone recognition, rubs off, on the rest of the Yankees. So what a weekend for him. Second game, 3 for 4. And this was a 7-1 victory. This was the game when I came back from the Mets game, me and Matt watching Remos, Carlos Rodon. I think decent start to his season. Maybe didn't get as deep into the game as he would have liked, but 4 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, but did have 4 strikeouts. So I thought, that was a pretty solid performance out of him. Hit up to 98 on the radar gun. We saw a lot of the time last year kind of sitting around 92. So I was encouraged by his performance. Bullpen hasn't allowed a run in these, didn't allow a run all weekend. So Birdie, Luke Weaver, who ended up picking up the win. You had Victor Gonzalez, Caleb Ferguson, the newly acquired Dodgers, playing a big role in this, the 2 left-handers, and then Clayton Beeter, a 3-pitch inning in his major league debut. So it was good to get him into the game. Offensively, I mentioned Soto going 3 for 4, Oswaldo Cabrera 4 for 5. Unbelievable. And I had to just think with Oswaldo. I mean, we saw him struggle so much last year.
Yeah.
Like, is this simply a result of the spring training with Juan Soto?
It must be, right?
I mean, he's so confident, so relaxed. And I wonder too if it's like last year, the whole team not hitting, if it's like he was being over aggressive, feeling like he needs to be the one to save the team. And now it's like, I'm going to stay within my lane and have my approach. It kind of seems like that has to have some impact on the way he's played in these 4 games.
I mean, it has to be. It certainly does. And I mean, almost like the same deal with Soto. When you have like that fear, I mean, this is clearly going to be a tough lineup for pitchers to pitch to.
Oh my God.
All season long. And I think pitchers already know that. And clearly the Yankees lineup already knows that. Cause like you said, he seems more relaxed. Maybe you're right. Maybe he did feel a lot of pressure to be that guy. I mean, he was brought up and he had a lot of these instances where he was put in clutch positions or positions where he needed to get a hit or score or something like that. Whereas now I'm sure, again, just the overall demeanor of the clubhouse is a complete 180, from last season. So I think that's a huge benefit to him. And again, it's showing on the field right now. So
Yeah. And, so that was pretty much everything on Friday. On to Saturday, Marcus Stroman making his Yankee debut. Yankees made a couple errors in the field, one by Stroman on a throw, as well as Waldo Cabrera and Anthony Volpe. So very uncharacteristic. I feel like the Yankees had been buttoned up fielding-wise. So that led to actually 3 unearned runs. So if you look at the final line for Stroman here, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, no earned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. Ends up being a 5-3 win in his first victory as a Yankee. I mentioned Ian Hamilton, the great performance opening day, follows that up by 2 scoreless innings. And this one I had talked about preseason. I kind of think, he's that guy that's slotted right behind Clay Holmes. I mean, I guess you could argue Loaizaga as well, but love his stuff and love the confidence, love the comeback story. So he played a big role. And then Clay Holmes, his second save of the season, had one, of course, in the opener, and then has one here, 11 pitch, kind of a more relaxing inning than the others that he had in this series. And again, with this game, the comeback, you're down 2-0 in the second, then 2-1 in the third, you get one back, on a throwing error, actually, that, scored Juan Soto. But then, you give up another run after another error in the fifth. So you're down, 3-1, actually going into the top of the 7th inning, where you get a 3-run rally. And who else but Oswaldo Cabrera, his second home run of the season, followed by a Juan Soto home run, his first as a Yankee. So the go-ahead homer there made it 4-3. Volpe tacking one on in the 8th, his first home run of the season, to make it 5-3. And like I said, ultimately the final score. So I thought, all positive here. Nice that you got Stroman to give you 6, 7 straight games to start the season. Doesn't allow the bullpen to rest. And I don't know if you saw some of the highlights, but I think overall I was encouraged out of, what I saw out of Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, I got to look again.
I get it, Tony, but at the same time, you can't just look at it and it's like, it's not on the Mets. The Mets stuff doesn't matter. We're just talking about how he's performing on the Yankees. And I think 6 innings and getting a win, I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for.
No, I mean, that one start, yes, that one start looks good right now. We'll see, dude.
One start at a time, Tony. One start at a time.
Yep.
And then the Yankees getting the sweep yesterday, 4-3. This was a pitching matchup of Clark Schmidt and JP France. Schmidt, he started out pretty good in this one, but ran into, some trouble in the 3rd, as well as the 6th inning. So, he has a final line here of 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. So kind of what I expect. I think the Yankees as an organization have higher expectations for him, but I just feel like he gives them a lot of hits. He the one big inning, usually does him in. But fortunately for them, that was enough to win this game. Again, the bullpen, Loaizaga with the scoreless inning, Caleb Ferguson with the scoreless inning. You have newly acquired Nick Birdie picking up his first win as a Yankee, getting 2 outs there in the 8th. Some trouble in the 9th, sliding catch by Verdugo to seal it. And, offensively for the Yankees here, they scored in the 2nd on an infield single from Jose Trevino. Got another run, on a Birdie single in the 4th, and that's Nick Birdie making his Yankee debut. And then you had Aaron Judge with a sac fly an inning later to make it 3-1. Astros answered back in the 6th by a double by Tucker, a single by Diaz, tying the game at 3. But who else but Juan Soto coming up with the big hit there, in the 9th. And, like I said, the catch by Verdugo sealing the game. I guess Alvarez had a close call on a foul ball home run before that. But Soto, he's the hero, the first game of the season with that throw, the game-winning hit here. Team morale way up, sweeping the Houston Astros. How about 7 straight wins for the Yankees going back to last season in Houston? That's pretty impressive given all the playoff struggles they've had. Of course, the last series there in 2022 getting swept in the ALCS. So getting some type of a vengeance, and everybody jacked up. And I've mentioned before about the relationship with Verdugo and Judge and just how energized he seems after the game, calling them dogs, and Juan Soto saying this is the start that he was hoping for. So all in all, I would say a 10 out of 10 for the Yankees. I don't think anybody with highest expectations expected them to sweep Houston. And the Soto effect is real, Tony. I mean, I think there's no denying that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly. And, this is the type of guy, this is the type of player who takes games into his own hand. I mean, we talked about him staring down batters or pitchers, rather, and being someone who can intimidate them. I mean, dude, Josh Hader, arguably one of the best closers in the game.
I mean, he had strikeout like his first 5 or 6 batters of the season. I mean,
and that was it was a 2-out, right? 2-out hit,
yes.
I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, again, like, not only are you facing one of the greatest closers in the game here, but you're also having a lot of pressure on your shoulders where it's like, you are literally making or breaking this game. And Soto rose to that occasion. And I mean, how do you not, if you're his teammate, like just be riled just for everything and then play better? Like that's just what's going to happen,
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a shame about DJ though.
No, I mean, it really though, and listen, I just wanted to get that out there. It just in general, and I think Gio even said, I think it was Gio actually who said last week that nobody cares about the Yankee pinch runs anymore, which is just so ridiculous. It's not even funny. But I think this is a big season for the Yankees, a big comeback to really establish themselves again as, one of the premier franchises in the sport. And we know, it's been 14 seasons that they haven't made it to the World Series. So, everything on the line here. And I think just these 4 games have just shown how much the Yankees have needed a hitter like Juan Soto. And again, Tony, I go back to this. I feel like there are a lot of players that could excel so much more than they currently are if they just recognize the strike zone. But you just see it around all the league, chasing the low pitches in the dirt, swinging at the pitches above their head. I mean, it's not specific to one player. It's just like everybody does that. And I don't know how you don't just study every single thing he does, because I don't know of a more perfect approach to hitting than what he offers.
Do you think it could be maybe as simple enough as just telling batters to wait for their specific pitch? Like, I mean, if you like it, a fastball up and in, like just wait for that fastball, right? Like, you think some people that?
I've said it for a while. I didn't like when the Yankees were struggling last year. I was like, how do you not just sit fastball? Especially Stanton. Like, I mean, sure, maybe a hanging curve once in a while he did out, but it just seemed like a lot of times, like it's like swinging at that low slider. Like you have to have pitch recognition. It's so refreshing to see. And it just, I love too, just seeing the closeness of this team. It seems like everybody is having a great time out there. Obviously, a lot of games left here, but the start you want and to know that, you are going to have people coming back at some point this year, especially Garrett Cole. But I think the pitching gave them all they could hope for. Now it's on to Arizona. Luis Gil making his first start in 2 years tonight. So really excited to see what he has to offer. But it's a good time. It's a fun time to be a Yankee fan, and I couldn't be any more excited for Friday, the home opener, Soto's home debut. Let's keep the good times rolling, Tony.
Yeah, no, I do second that, and I really am pumped. Have to decide what I'm going to wear on Friday, dude, because I can't wear any Yankee stuff. That's
we've
sure,
had the
dude.
Conversation, so you could do what you want. I'm not going to bring it up anymore. We've established our parameters on that. One thing I want to say here before we move on is Butka saying I need Judge to hit some more home runs. Now, definitely a slow start for Judge, after the first 4 games only hitting 125. But in a way, I know it sounds ridiculous, Tony, but I almost think it's a good thing, because we've seen in past seasons, past playoff series, Judges in hitting. What are the results? The Yankees aren't winning series. You know what I mean? They're not beating any teams besides the Guardians and the Twins. I mean, how long have we said that? So the fact that they won 4 games against Houston and he didn't do anything, I mean, it's like, well, what's going to happen once he starts hitting? I mean, this could be the deepest lineup in the league. I think we will see Aaron Judge, whether it's over the course of these 3 games in Arizona or once he returns home. We'll see the Judge that we all know. Let's go. Honestly, let's go. Now, moving along here, Michael Antsy for the frenzy. Relax, buddy. I know it's a sore subject, Tony, but I want to know, 0-3 for the Mets, over the course of their first 3 games. First time since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's disappointing, but what specifically stood out to you, over these 3 games here?
Yeah. So, I mean, look at these 3 games. Obviously, series against the Brewers here, you're thinking Stearns, the reunion, get back at the Brewers, make a statement here, whatever. And then, obviously Quintana, starts the first game here that we were at, which honestly, I mean, not terrible, I suppose.
No.
But his final line, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 85 pitches thrown over those 4 2/3 innings pitched. Now, again, not terrible. Obviously, our main issue here is we need, pitchers to go 6 innings. We have starters to go 6 innings. But we'll get to that in a second. The Mets actually started off the scoring here. Ketel Marte. Sterling Marte here. Homer.
Sterling?
Starling Marte here. Hit a nice dinger, which is, again, it's great to see from him, healthy. Whatever, we know last time he was healthy. Yeah, he's a big power bat. He is hot off the bat, whatever. And again, second inning, you think, all right, like maybe it's Marte here, a veteran here, outfielder, get it going. No, dude, that was the only hit, I believe, from a Met. Yes, the entire day, that was the only hit, was that solo shot. And again, like, you end up losing this game 3-1. Quintana there doesn't go as deep as you want, gives up 2 earned runs, but you get Drew Smith for some relief. He did a good job, honestly. Inning in a third, Lopez, and then Tonkin to close it out for 2 innings here. I mean, I know obviously it's tough because you expect more out of your starter here, but I mean, the Mets got to figure out a way to hit. I mean, Peralta, like, it's not like he has unbelievable stuff here. And it's just everyone's like striking out here. Nimmo is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. DJ Stewart looked terrible actually at the plate. And again, someone who I spoke about earning his spot. He looked good in spring training. All of a sudden, deer in headlights here. Alvarez and Beatty, same deal. Both 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. It just seemed like no one was hitting at all, which was so odd. I don't know if it was jitters. I don't know if Mendoza isn't doing a good job in keeping, their focus as a team. But you had a great spring training. How do you absolutely lay an egg here offensively for opening day? I mean, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I can tell you though, Quintana, I mean, I think he definitely was a little angsty to start. I mean, I think same deal too. We talk about Severino too. Trying to hammer fastballs, over pitching. It just seemed like people were definitely a little nervous. On the Brewers side of things, I guess it was nice to see Yelich with that dinger, 3 for 4. With an RBI and a home run, striking out only once.
It was ironic that we are there for the game.
Yeah.
We've talked about a Yelich resurgence for a while. So who knows what he's in store for?
Yeah. But obviously, tough 3-1 loss. Moving on to the next day. Oh, I guess we'll talk about McNeil, obviously. The whole Rhys Hoskins thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, it certainly was a late slide.
Yeah.
Wasn't
illegal, though.
It technically wasn't illegal. Certainly was a gritty play, a dirty play, you can call it that. And you look at McNeil, I understand why he's tight, the ankle, whatever. But I feel like no cause for that much commotion,
And also, get your emotions in check. We saw you couldn't handle it with Lindor a couple years ago, the rat, all that stuff. You're kind of embarrassing yourself.
You really are, dude.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Like say your 2 cents, and then that's it. Leave them alone, dude. Like,
to have the benches clear.
Oh my God, the bullpen comes out. It's just so unnecessary, dude. And then again, you go on to lose the game. It's a bad look for you.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, here comes Saturday. I'm sitting at home. I'm watching the pregame stuff. Todd Zeal talking about McNeil with the freaking slide. What are they going to do today? It could get, maybe tension's high, whatever. So Severino gets to start here. And I told you about it. He starts off pretty hot. The fastballs hitting 98, consistently 96, throwing the speed. Strikes out, I think, his first 2 batters, I want to say. I think it's absolutely popped. Realizes, I think, far too quickly that, again, maybe just too much adrenaline for his first start. Realizes, hey, I can't keep hammering these fastballs. Let's throw some off speed. Off speed starts getting hit. Gives up hits left and right. Goes back to the fastball. Can't locate it. What do you know? All of a sudden, I think it's 2 runners on and Rhys Hoskins up at the plate, okay? And of course, he has the most ridiculous amount of booze. They cut to McNeil. He's at second base, the sunglasses on. First pitch fastball, absolutely jumps on it, ropes one to left field, scores 2 runs. It's a stand-up double. Ha, 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 ha. He's fucking on the bases. Terrible look once again here, dude. An absolutely terrible, and you just know from right there, like, they're going to lose this game. You absolutely know it, dude. And what do you know? They go on to lose 7-6. Severino gets freaking popped. 5 innings, 12 hits, Brian, 6 earned runs, 6 Ks, no walks. But nonetheless, another pitcher here, great during the spring training, lays an absolute egg to start off his Mets career. And he just looked like, obviously 12 hits. He looked so freaking hittable. Every pitch he had was batting practice. It was as if they were playing T-ball. But
Brewers. He had 8 strikeouts, huh?
6.
Oh, 6 strikeouts. Okay.
Again, struck out the first 2 batters in the first inning. Looked great.
But on the other, what pitch was he using to get the strikeouts?
Fastball,
but it's just out of the zone. That's why they weren't hitting it. That's
no. He was accurate. He was picking off the corners of the fastball.
So, but how was he able to get those strikeouts? But then gives up 12 hits as well. Like, was it all fastball hits? Like, was it like
no? So again, once he realized, I think he literally realized, hey, I can't keep throwing these fastballs all day. Went to a changeup, went to his off speed, and those were hittable pitches.
Okay.
So then he goes back to his fastball, obviously feeling pressure. Oh, my fastball needs to locate. Doesn't locate it. Fastballs, middle of the plate, getting hit, off speed, gone. Absolute, no confidence in his pitches. Just terrible, dude. And of course, once again here, 5 innings going into your bullpen. You got Diekman, Ramirez. Now let's fast forward here. Of course, I think it's probably the 7th inning by now. The 7th inning, Brian. I don't even know what the score was. You're down probably 6-1, 6-2 maybe in the 7th inning. Rhys Hoskins is up, and then you decide to pitch to send him a message or whatever you wanted to. Ramirez throws a pitch either behind him, semi over his head, kind of behind him, and of course the ump sees that. He's like, all right, I'm going to throw you out. You get thrown out. Mendoza comes out arguing. I don't know what he's arguing about, but Mendoza gets thrown out. A 1-game suspension on top of it, and then you're sitting here. You're down 7-2. You end up trying to make a comeback here in the 8th and the 9th. You score 4 runs, but obviously it does nothing because you end up losing this game 7-6. Your manager gets thrown out. 1-game suspension. And again, you lose a game and you embarrass yourself.
And I also heard, by the way, speaking of embarrassing, that 20 minutes before the game, he didn't realize he was suspended yesterday.
Yeah. What are we doing, dude?
Boomer was so tight this morning.
What are we doing, dude?
Yeah.
But again, 2 for 4 that day. Alonso had some bats there. I think Alvarez had 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs on a double. Looked good. Zach Short got the nod at third base, by the way, that day, which I love. First inning, though, bobbles a ground ball. It was a tough play. He would have had to literally pick it up and chuck it right away. But clearly, was thinking about the throw before catching the ball. This is glove up too early. Ball goes behind. And again, odds are maybe he wouldn't have got the guy out at first, but still, you hate to see that. Zach Short, someone that I've been pulling for, you guys know if you've been watching the show. But I guess let's get on to Sunday here as you get Tyler McGill with the start. What do you know? Only pitches 4 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits. I mean, he left the game with shoulder tightness or whatever. I think that he's going to be, I think they shut him down for a little bit. MRI, I think maybe awaiting results, but still not what you want to Hill.
We'll fill in probably.
And again, another pitcher. Great spring training, dude. Looked great. Better than he ever has in a Met uniform. Injured. Ramirez comes back, 3 innings, 2 earned runs. Bullpen can't handle themselves. You're using them too much, too early because your starters aren't doing well. But you want to look at how the scoring started. You have Willie Adames gets an RBI single off of McGill. Yelich was on base. He scored. Churio doubled to right, I believe, for his first score as a Brewer, I want to say.
First run scored
as a Brewer. And then again, Tyrone Taylor, great job there, I suppose. He's someone who's been hot spring training, translating that to the regular season. The former Brewer himself gets an RBI single. The only hit, not the only hit, but the only score by a Met on Sunday. And, of course, your bullpen gets 2 more runs late in the game, and your offense not able to make up the 3-run deficit as the Brewers bullpen goes on to lead the Brewers to a 3-0 start here on their season. Got to be the first time in a while the Brewers started 3-0, by the way. But again, I guess if you're a Brewer fan, you'll be excited about that. If you're a Met fan, we have the Tigers starting today. I believe Minaya gets his first start as a Met. I guess that's great, but the way that these stars have been trending doesn't leave you like a lot to be excited about today. But again, maybe Zach Short gets a start here, former team, sparks some offense. Alvarez and Alonso not off to a terrible start. Looking at Lindor to heat up a little bit in Detroit here. And again, you got to get your fucking pitchers in check here. This is not going to work, dude. Like, this is not at all sustainable for your bullpen. Your pitchers aren't going like north of 5 innings here. Like, that's ridiculous. That's one thing you needed to improve on from last season is the length your stars were going. And what are we doing right now? We just lost a starter. He's gonna be out. McGill probably for a while. Obviously, we know about Senga, and his road to recovery is, again,
weeks away.
It's weeks away, but it's as advertised.
Yeah.
He's gonna be out for a while, so you got to figure something out. You need 7 innings out of Minaya.
But I think you take 6 in 1 run. I'm guessing.
Yeah, obviously you take it, but I want 7 innings.
Yeah, I mean,
dude.
7 would be great, but also
I want to be like, this is a pitcher I can have confidence in terms of eating up innings. Like, give our bullpen a little break. You've already used Drew Smith twice. Haven't seen Ottavino yet, which is kind of interesting. But we'll probably see him tonight, I guess.
Yeah. And then to add insult to injury, you're getting a little chirped here by Mr. Iowa State himself.
What the fuck, Riley? Because when the whole whatever day it was, and I was like not hyped about the Mets season, goes, I'm gonna make you a believer, dude. You're gonna be hyped for this season. They could low key be good, he said, just like that too. And here he is chirping my fucking, come on, man. And then of course Michael Buckner says Mets could have won a couple of those games. Really, dude.
Another chirp.
They blew when they were up to bat. Alonso needs to do more than crush dingers. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, everyone needs to do more in the Mets. I mean,
Alvarez, though, I think has done everything you could have hoped for. He's the only one.
Yeah, I guess.
I think he had 3 hits yesterday.
Yeah, 3 hits yesterday, 3 for 4.
Yeah.
No, that was Saturday.
Oh, he had a couple hits yesterday.
A couple hits yesterday as well. He got on base. He came around the bags once off of that Taylor RBI. My mother also says good morning. She's upset about the Mets as well. She did the whole McNeil and thing. Oh my God, so ridiculous. And Riley says that wasn't a chirp. I thought it was a good start. Yo, get the fuck out of here, Riley. Honestly, dude.
So I know obviously, you're tight, but I know also, I'm sure your mindset tentatively anyway is, it's not over yet. It's the first 3 games of the season. But like, where do you go from here? I mean, you just hope for better? I mean, what do you think the game plan is for the Mets here?
I mean, you gotta get your pitching coach in there, and you got to figure out like how Severino can effectively pitch.
Yeah, because I was really surprised that was a career high in hits allowed, by the way.
Yeah, like ridiculous.
Yeah,
like you have to figure out. He has to figure out like his pitch selection and like get you. I mean, I feel like he just needs confidence in 2 pitches. If it's his fastball changeup, that's fine with me too.
But I mean, if he's going at 2 pitches, like, shouldn't he really be a reliever?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, at least just find confidence in 2 pitches.
Where you can like sprinkle in something.
Something else if you need, like it seems like he has nothing.
Does you think at some point this year he ends up getting moved to the bullpen or just?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if the Mets can somehow have other starters, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was really shocked, and I've been so like positive with Sevy, and believe me, I saw how rough it got last year, but after that performance, it's like, wow. I mean, next couple starts, I mean, he's got to show something.
Yeah, he's got to show a lot, dude, the next few starts. And again, like that pitching coach for the Mets, I mean, dude, if he doesn't, if these starters don't turn around, like, you got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you got to get someone in there who knows what he's doing, can fix these guys. You got to hope McGill is healthy, but same deal with him though. Like,
who is the pitching coach? Hefner still?
Yeah, it's Hefner.
But he was the pitching coach last year?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so it's weird. I guess they just hung on to some, want to pay the extra salaries for the assistants.
So I don't know, dude. You got to figure out something, whether it is an issue with the coaching staff or
Franco, Raymond.
Yeah.
I mean, legend.
Sure. No? Why not? Yeah. Why not, dude?
I'm trying to think of else who would be like
anybody, dude.
I'm trying to think though, since you've been watching the Mets, who's the best? Well,
pitcher?
I guess it was like DeGrom.
Yeah.
But other than him, yeah, Harvey for a little bit. But who was like before those guys? Anybody that was like crazy or no?
Like when I was growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, starters?
Steve Troxel?
Maybe. I mean, Wagner was great in relief as a closer.
Do you know who leads the franchise in wins? Oh, is it Tom Seaver? Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. But so really it's like Seaver and then like there's not
DeGrom.
So really there's a short list of Mets pitchers. So it's been a common problem.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of like somebody from the past to bring in to like, you know what I mean, help these guys out. But I
Gooden.
Yeah. Maybe it is Franco, honestly. I mean, no, he wasn't a starter, but I don't
take anybody, dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a Met.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
True. Maybe you can get, what was it? Leo Mazzoni out of retirement, the former Braves pitching coach.
Oh, yeah.
Remember he used to always just go like this?
Nod his head like a weirdo.
I mean, he was good, though. I have to
Obviously.
say. He was good.
Yeah.
So be interesting to see what happens, but I know Michael Butka, he's around for UConn women. Don't sleep on them. We'll see. I know they're pretty big dogs against South Carolina. But that being said, Tony, it is time for a baseball.
Oh, right, dude. Hold on, stand by. Oh, I totally forget where I put the thing. There it is. Oh, right here. Michael Buchter says, don't sleep on them. He means us during the baseball frenzy here. Yeah, dude, I knew it. Yes. Hyped for the frenzy. About damn time. All right, Michael, take it easy here.
Geez.
Whoa, buddy. All right, let's go. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day, Mr. Buchter, around the MLB, and we're going to start early and often, 2:10 p.m. here. You have the Atlanta Braves taking on the Chicago White Sox here. So you have Charlie Morton, the veteran, wily vet, going up against Chris Flexen there for the White Sox. White Sox also started their season off by getting swept 0-3. The Braves are 2-1 right now. You have Chicago, the home dogs at plus 220. Tickets as low as $6, by the way, Brian. Over under is 8.5. White Sox, that's swept by Detroit, by the way. Braves took 2 from the Phillies. What do you got, Brian?
I mean, you hate to be too simplistic with things, but let's be real. I mean, I know Chicago, yes, they're going to win eventually. But this team has been a disaster for years now. And I think, you're not going to catch Charlie Morton and the Braves sleeping in this one. I think Morton will get off to a good start here. 6 innings, no runs, 6 scoreless out of Charlie. Offense might score 5 in the first, Tony. I think they hit the over themselves and win this game 9-2.
Again, hate to go chalk here, but I guess you kind of have to. Braves and the over. Let's go. Next game, 2:20. Also in Chicago. On the other end there, though, as the Cubs are taking on the Rockies. Chicago minus 225 here as we have Dakota Hudson, going against Shota Imanaga, which will be Major League debut.
Look good in the spring.
Yes. Also, yes, look good in the spring. We know how that goes sometimes. The Cubs here start off their season 1-2, dropping 2 to the Rangers. The Rockies also dropping 3 to the Diamondbacks here. Over under is 7.5. What do you think?
Yeah, again, don't want to go chalk, but the Rockies are probably even in worse shape than the White Sox.
Yeah.
And I like the Cubs, uneven start at 1-2, but I think far superior to Colorado. I think a manga, this will give them confidence moving forward. I think, let's say 5 1/3, 1 earned, maybe 6 strikeouts. And I think this is an under. We're gonna see Christopher Morel with a grand slam in the 3rd inning, which will lead to a 5-1 victory for the Chicago Cubs.
Wow. Give me the Cubs and the over. I say Shota here has a little, opening day jitters, the ball different, obviously the adjustments. Maybe Colorado can get a few hits on him. But nonetheless, I think the Cubs, solid offense. They can certainly score their win against Texas. They scored 9, so let's go, baby. Give me Cubs and the over. Do you think they win this one? I don't know, maybe 6-4, something like that, 6-3. Next game up, though, 4:05 as the Nationals, Brian, are taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We have Gonzalez versus Michael Gore. Washington minus 120 at home.
McKenzie, by the way.
Oh, McKenzie, it's right. Over under at 8.5. The Nationals there, we know, dropped 2 to Cincinnati. The Pirates did sweep the Marlins there, so they're on a 4-game win streak right now. Watch out for Gore, though. Pretty solid year last year.
Exactly. I think he's going to grow into a really an ace role. I know he's the 4th starter right now, but he doesn't have much competition there. Love the Pirates. Think they have an outside shot at the playoffs. But I think just for this game specifically, I could see Marco Gonzalez getting kind of popped. Maybe Rosario goes deep, Tony. So give me Washington here. I think Gore strikes out 8 over 6 innings of 1-run ball, and we're going to see the Nationals win this one 3-1.
So tough here, dude.
Pirates are for real, though. I know they got the hot start last year, but with O'Neal Cruz healthy, Brian Hayes locked in, this is a talented team.
Yeah, Brian Hayes batted really well against Miami, too. Washington against Cincinnati had such a difficult time not giving up runs. I'm going to go against Brian here. Did you go the over or the under?
Under.
Yeah. I'm going to say Pirates in the under here.
Okay.
I think Gore maybe has a good game, but still, the Pirates offense.
Tap into that bullpen.
Yeah, I think so, dude. I don't think Gore can hold them up for too long. I mean, Pirates winning this one on the under. I'll say 4-2 there. Go Pirates, eh? Next game up here, 6:35. We're going to be in Baltimore as the Orioles taking on the Royals, another outside team that's going to try the playoffs here. Kansas City, that is. We have Dean Creamer taking on Michael Wacha, which is a pretty interesting matchup there in terms of the pitchers. Baltimore, minus 155 here. Your over-under is at 8.5. Interesting. So Vegas is expecting some scoring here. Orioles, a 2-1 against the Angels here so far. And the Royals 1-2 start against the Twins. What do you got?
You know, this is tough. I like Wacha over Creamer, but I think, Baltimore off of that loss, maybe a little juiced up. Home crowd here, 6:35 start, the twilight hour, Tony. So I'm going to say the Orioles win this one. I think a lower scoring game maybe than people anticipate, but they're going to win this game. Let's say 4-2.
I'm gonna go Orioles. Let's go with Dean's team, but I think Dean Creamer does get popped. Give me Orioles in the over, dude. Santander with a dinger. Maybe Ryan Mountcastle also with a dinger. Bobby Witt batting .545, by the way. Fucking dude, killing it in the sluggish percentage there in his first series. So I think a lot of offense here. Give me the Orioles winning this one. I don't know, maybe 6-4. We'll say that. Next game here before I lose my spot, 6:40 now. Speaking of Miami, the Marlins are taking on the Angels here at home. Miami is minus 120. Tickets as low as $5 over there. Miami, dude. Over under at 8.5. Max Meyer pitching for Miami, and then Chase Silseth pitching for the Angels. What do you got, dude?
Tough.
I know.
Mickey Moniak already banged up for Anaheim. I guess just because even though the Marlins started out 0-4, I just feel like they're better than that. The Pirates started out hot. So in an ugly game, I don't think we're going to see much offense here, despite the weak starting pitching. I'm going to say Jake Berger, the walk-off solo shot in the bottom of the ninth, 2-1 Miami, Tony.
I love it, dude. Give me Miami in the over. You're taking a lot of overs.
Taking a lot of unders, so this will be interesting.
Yeah, I'll stick with the over for this one. 8.5 is kind of high, though, Tony. What are you thinking? I'll stick with the over, dude. Give me Miami in the over. I don't know. A lot of scoring. Both these guys get popped. The bullpen suck, too. Like, there's no way. Give me a lot of scoring. Maybe Rendon? Anyone? Next game up here. 6:50 in Tampa Bay as we have the Rays taking.
The Phillies? Did you miss the Phillies game?
Oh shit, I did. 6:40. Excuse me. In Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park, beautiful park, dude. The Phillies take on the Cincinnati Reds here. The Phillies minus 150. Over unders we said at 8.5. Another 8.5. Christopher Sanchez on the mound for Philadelphia. Andrew Abbott on the mound for Cincinnati. Phillies, not off to a great start, suppose. 1-2 against the Braves. And the Reds, as we mentioned, won 2 games in their 3-game set against Washington. So who do you have here?
Give me the Reds. I think the Phillies usually slow starters. I've mentioned Ellie De La Cruz a lot. And I think he's going to propel them here. Give him 2 home runs in this game. We've seen the Philly bullpen break down, so I like the over as well. I'm going to say the Reds win this game 7-5.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we're going to literally all 3 of these games, all 6 of the games that these 2 teams have played to start off with, all hitting the over. Law of averages give me the Phillies and the under, dude. They win 2-1. Give me a Bryson Stott solo shot in the 8th. Phillies hang on. They win 2-1. Let's go. Let's see. Where am I? Next game up here. That's right. They were back to Tampa Bay here as the Rays taking on the Rangers, Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. Tampa Bay minus 125 here at home, which is interesting. You have Dane Dunning on the mound for the Rangers and Ryan Pepiot for Tampa Bay. Pepiot?
Yeah.
Pepiot? Yeah? Pepiot. 8.5 is your over-under. We know the Rays won 2 games in the 3-game set against Toronto. In their 4-game set, they're 2-2. The Rangers took 2 from the Cubs to start the season. What do you got, Ryan?
By the way, looking at these pitching matchups today, really don't feel too bad about my rotation. The state of pitching, Major League Baseball, it's going to be interesting to see as the season progresses. A lot of no-names. I know Dunning has done pretty well. Pepiot in spots. So this kind of seems like, the Rays, it's going to be an under, but I'm going to say it's an over, and I think the Rangers win the battle of the bats here. I'm going to say Corey Seager, a 5th-inning granny, giving the Rangers, we're going to say a 8-6 victory in Tampa.
8-6. I like that. I feel like Dane Dunning did a good job. We've been known to get popped. This guy, Ryan, don't know much about him. Assuming Texas can, put together some good offense against him. Give me Rangers in the over as well. Let's keep it chalk there. Next game, which actually, fly back up here. Oh, wait, no, that's right. The Yankees are playing late, dude. Next game, we're actually going to Citi Field in Queens as your New York Mets, Brian, taking on the Detroit Tigers. Ironically enough, the Tigers 3-0. The Mets 0-3. We know about their story, but the Mets still favored at minus 135 as Sean Manaea gets his first start in the Met uniform. Reese Olson getting the nod there for Detroit.
Francisco Alvarez, 2 home runs. Manaea, 5 2/3 scoreless. Mets, I'm going to say 7-4 over Detroit.
I totally agree here. I think this is the game the Mets offense really starts churning. No Mendoza in the dugout is probably a good thing, to be honest. So give me, Alvarez, Dinger, Lindor, 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, Alonso, Dinger. Let's go, dude. Manaea, 6 innings. Nay, Brian, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 10 Ks, 1 walk. Mets win. I don't know. 6-2.
Is it embarrassing that the lowest ticket price will be lower than the amount of runs scored in this game?
I would say a little bit, yeah. $7, great deal.
The train, the problem.
The problem. Mark Hanna, by the way, plays for Detroit now.
No tribute.
No tribute. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. Fuck you. Next game up here, 8-10. It's Houston, the Astros. Take on the Toronto Blue Jays, Minute Maid Park here. Tickets as low as $10 over there. Wow, Houston minus 140 there. As you have Ronel Blanco getting the start for the Astros and Bowden Francis getting the start for the Blue Jays. Over under for the first time today is 9.5, Brian. Look at these 2 teams. The Astros, we know 0-4 start. Toronto, we mentioned the 2-2 start there. What do you got?
Houston's got to win at some point, so why not today? I think, they're tight about the way the Yankees series went. This pitching matchup again.
Yeah, who are we doing?
What are we doing? But anyway, Yordan Alvarez, maybe a couple homers, maybe Bregman gets in the mix. I think a lot of runs here for Houston. I'm going to say 9-3 over Toronto.
I don't know. I think Blue Jays lay another egg. Give me Houston in the under. They win 5-2. Next game up here, 9:40. We got on Nesson tonight. We have the A's in Oakland taking on the Boston Red Sox, who started off their season 2-2. The Athletics are 1-3. You have Oakland at plus 120 here tonight. Riley has got to be riled to watch this one. Over under 8.5. Joe Boyle getting the start, and I believe major league debut for the A's. And then the Boston Red Sox will be a familiar face here. And Tanner Houck, the right-handed pitcher, will be getting the start for Boston. We talked about these two teams as well. Boston 2-2 against Seattle so far. The A's 1-3 against their first series against Cleveland. What do you got, bro?
I don't know why they specify Nesson. They don't do that with the Yes Network. I don't know why. I've noticed they've been doing.
They don't do that with Yes. You sure?
No, I don't get it. But because if you go off,
I feel like S and Y they don't say either. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, dude.
I don't know.
Maybe it's only on Nesson. There's no way.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But anyway.
You're tight. You're tight about that.
I'm a little tight. I'm going to say, though, the A's. How about this? 1-0 victory here over the Red Sox. Ruiz, game-winning steal of home in the bottom of the ninth. Kenley Jansen, head in the clouds, Riley. Hope you don't stay up for this one.
Oh, Josh B, the stolen home base to end the game, dude. I don't know, dude. Give me 10 of Houck. I like Houck, honestly, dude. Give me 6 innings out of him. Probably 1 earned run, honestly, against this A's lineup here. Give me Red Sox winning, 4-2, maybe 5-3, but definitely hitting the under there, just under the 5-3 score. Riley, stay up for that one. Next game here, we're going to it. Let's go. 9:40, Arizona, the Diamondbacks taking on your undefeated Yankees, Brian, at Chase Field in Phoenix. Arizona plus 105, the home dogs, even though they're 3-1. Pretty solid start. Over-under is 9.5. Expecting a lot of hits here as Heel gets the start for the Yankees and Ryan Nelson gets the start for the Diamondbacks. We know these two team stories. What do you got so far?
Yeah, let's keep the good times rolling. I think Luis Heel impressed in spring. We're going to see him first inning, maybe hitting 101 on the gun, Tony. I don't think a ton of offense here for Arizona. I think the Yankees put up 5 and end up winning this game 5-2. So the Yankees and the under.
All right. The Yankees got to go.
Ryan Nelson did really well last year on the mound. Go ahead, take him.
No. I'm going to take the Yankees here. I think their offense has been so far second to none. I don't care what Heel's line is, which I think will be pretty good. But give me the Yankees winning this one. I'm going to say 6-3, just hovering at the under. Did you pick over or under, Brian?
Under.
Whoa, okay. So another under there. Let's keep it going here. I got to go back down here. We're going to go to Seattle as the Mariners, who are 2-2, are taking on your Cleveland Guardians. T-Mobile Park, we know about that. Seattle minus 105 here. Over-under is 7.5. For the Guardians, you have Tristan McKenzie. And then for Seattle, you have Emerson Hancock on the mound. Again, we went over how these two teams' first couple series have gone. What do you foresee here for Seattle, Brian?
Seattle wins the battle. I'm going to say Mariners 3-2. Julio, the walk-off homer in the ninth. Crowd going nuts at T-Mobile. So Mariners in the under.
Give me Mariners in the over. Mitch Haniger has been having a good start to his season. Jose Ramirez, even for Cleveland. Josh Naylor. We know about the rest of the usual suspects for Seattle. Seattle wins this one. I'm going to say 6-4. High scoring. Seattle and the over. Couple games left here, Brian. We got this. Still 9:40 p.m. ESPN Plus. It specifies that right here as the Padres of San Diego take on the St. Louis Cardinals. San Diego here minus 105 at Petco Park. Your over-under is 8.5 as Matt Waldron gets the start for them. Kyle Gibson gets the start for the Cards. His first start in the Cardinal uniform. Former Oriole there. What do you got?
I think Gibson continues to pitch batting practice. I think Matt Waldron will improve upon Michael King's 7 walks yesterday. And I think the Padres will outslug the Cardinals here. We're going to say 9-5. So the Padres and the over.
Cardinals still suck. Could barely hang around, obviously, with the Dodgers here. Once was a competitive team. I don't know, man. Don't see it. You mentioned about Gibson batting practice. Excuse me. Did you go over?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I was going to get Padres over. I think same deal here. I think maybe both pitchers get popped. But Padres out offense. The Cardinals. They win, 8-5, high scoring, so much scoring today. I really don't even like these picks now, but let's go. Last game, 10 p.m. You know the deal. West Coast, it's the Dodgers taking on the Giants. Great rivalry here. The Dodgers -200 at home, over under 8.5. James Paxton, Brian, getting the start for the Dodgers. Keaton Wynn getting his start for the Giants. Look at these two teams here. Giants, starting 2-2 against the Padres here. With the Dodgers having an extra leg up in terms of games. They're 4-2 here. Just took 3 out of 4 against the Cards there. What do you got?
Yeah. So speaking of batting practice, I think Paxton, had some success with his batting practice before getting shut down with an injury last year for the Red Sox. So I think Ohtani, the gambling, the translator, the cover-up, all that, I think it's a little distracting here. Give me the Giants. Give me, I'm going to say, Michael Conforto, the go-ahead 3-run homer in the 8th, as the Giants win this one 4-3. So the Giants and the under.
I love the Conforto talk, but give me the Dodgers here. I think they will out offense. Give me Freddie Freeman. 2 dingers, Brian. Still killing it over there at first base, too. I say Dodgers go on to win this one. I'll say 5-3, just getting the under. Dodgers and the under, Brian.
Through back channels, does Ohtani place a wager on this one?
Nah, he doesn't like it. He's not pitching. Nope.
So that is your baseball frenzy here. And I can't believe it's already 11:40, Tony. So
wait, what?
Time is ticking. So I just, we can do, tomorrow we'll get more in depth about hockey, but just speaking Rangers here. Okay. So, we weren't here Friday, obviously the big shootout win, Trocheck hitting the nuts and then winning in the shootout against Colorado. That was crazy. It was nice to watch that one after the Yankees opening day win. Crazy game. Saturday. With the Coyotes in, Arizona there. What was it? 8-6 or 8-4? 8-5.
8-5, I think,
8-5.
or 8-6.
Goals all over the place.
Lafreniere,
with
the
hat
Hattie,
trick.
boom batty.
I have to say you were right about him because I was definitely tight coming into the year. But what a season for him as he tries to get to 30 goals before season's end. So I mean, is it 5 in a row now? I believe, right?
It is 5 in a row.
50 wins. First team in the NHL to 50 wins.
That is correct.
Best record in the league.
That's correct.
Just keep going. Just beat the Penguins tonight. You're the better team. The Rangers don't lay down for anybody. I mean, let's just get
all those things.
Started,
yeah.
right?
I mean, listen, you got Jonathan Quick. He's the winning most American goaltender now as of Saturday. Love to see that. Probably gonna have Shesterkin back in between the pipes tonight against the Penguins. I mean, it's shutout time. Let's go. It's Shesterkin coming back in. It's Pittsburgh. They suck. Get the shutout. Lafreniere keeps scoring. Maybe we can see some other players, obviously get in there. I mean, again, an 8-goal night against the Penguins would be great. Don't expect it. I'm looking at a 4-0 victory, I think, from the Rangers, dude.
Yeah,
what I would
I could see that. And any concern, Quick, a little batting practice in that one, or you think he's not going to be starting in the postseason, just in emergency? So,
I mean, I don't know, man.
He's kind of given up some goals.
Yeah, he's given up some goals recently. I feel like last couple starts. But again, I mean, that's what I kind of expected to down the stretch of the season. He's probably got some tired legs, dude. He put a lot of work in the first half of the year, in the first really 60% of the year, 75% even. You can say 2/3 of it. He's been putting in a lot of work. So, I mean, you kind of picked him up to be there just in case for the playoffs. So, I mean, hopefully he gets some more rest days. Again, if you keep him on a regular backup tender type of schedule, I'm sure he'll be fine if we need to go to him at any point.
And kind of interesting here, just because the free fall continues for Philadelphia, 4 straight losses. So right now, season ended, they're the second wild card. So Rangers would actually play them the first round. Washington moving up to that 3 spot. So they would face off with Carolina. And then Boston would be against Tampa, which would be kind of interesting. Maybe a chance for Riley's Bruins to get picked off for the second straight year, Tony. But all I know is I can't wait for the playoffs. Let's go Rangers, and let's get the job done tonight.
Yeah, dude. Can't believe the Red Wings blowing it.
Yeah. How about the Islanders, too?
Yeah.
Jesus.
How about the Devils?
Yeah. So, hey, I mean, I think it's at the end of the year, the good teams, separate themselves, and that's what we've seen the Rangers do here. What a season. So excited to, get both of those games tonight, back-to-back, Rangers and Yankees. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Michael Butkus still
Mets and
talking
Rangers.
Tatum.
Yep.
And like we said, playoffs will dabble, Michael, but it's just not the focus right now. And let's go Yanks, right?
So let's Sean Manaea, come on, dude.
Let's go. I picked them, so they better win.
Go.
But once again, would like to thank everybody for tuning in today, continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jane. Costume merch, downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you Monday.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.